On behalf of everybody associated with this event and the Make-A-Wish Foundation, I want to thank everybody for coming. This is a really good cause, and we appreciate you all coming out early in the morning, buying a ticket, and being here for this. I don't think I have to introduce this gentleman here, Mr. Christopher Lloyd, actor extraordinary. To Chris's left is Claudia Wells, who portrays Jennifer Parker in Back to the Future 1. And to my right here is Jeffery Weissman, who plays George McFly in Back to the Future 2 and 3. I'll start off by telling a few stories and asking these guys to tell a few stories, and then we'll open it up for questions. First, on the subject of questions, though, I want to find out how many people here have never seen Back to the Future at all? We've got a couple of young people up here who haven't seen it. That's fine. Now, how many of you have never seen it projected on a big screen? Oh, okay, all right. All right, well, you guys are in for a treat. There's, what you're going to be seeing today is the digital master for the upcoming high-definition Blu-ray version of Back to the Future. I don't know when it's coming out yet, but I know that I was involved in the mastering of this tape, so I can tell you that it looks absolutely beautiful. There is, unfortunately, a slight bit of bad news about it, because this, as a master tape, was created to actually be the mastering element for the disc. So the movie is actually on 2 tapes. So halfway through the movie, there's going to be a break where they have to take 1 tape out and put it in. So the film didn't break because there isn't any film. Just be prepared for that, so that when the screen suddenly goes dark and we hear this tremendous it's supposed to be like that. Otherwise, what you're going to see is absolutely beautiful. It looks better than anybody who would have seen it in 1985 projected, because there's no scratches on it. It's an absolutely pristine copy. Everything's beautifully color corrected, and it's great. A lot of people, let me answer one other question before anybody asks it, which is there ever going to be a Back to the Future Part 4? No. Oh, well, now, wait a minute now. We've seen sometimes where you make one too many sequels, and you say, maybe they shouldn't have done that.
Like Rambo?
I'm not gonna mention any names of movies, but you know what they are. But more importantly, as I'm sure you all know, Michael J. Fox is not in the best of shape with his Parkinson's. The idea of making another Back to the Future movie without Michael J. Fox, that's like saying, I'm gonna cook you a steak dinner and I'm gonna hold the beef. Can't do that. So the filmmakers, we all love the 3 Back to the Future movies just the way we are, the way they are, and I'm sure Universal would love it if we were to say to them, hey, let's do another one, but we don't think we could ever make a 4th one that would live up to how great the first 3 are, so we're going to leave well enough alone. One question that I get asked a lot is, how did you think this up? How did this whole thing come about? And for anybody that's in a creative field, even if don't even consider yourself creative, sometimes you get an idea about something in the weirdest places, and you're not thinking about it, and suddenly it dawns on you. And that's sort of how Back to the Future came about. Bob Zemeckis and I had always talked, who's the co-writer and director of the movies, Bob Zemeckis and I had always talked about doing a time travel movie someday, we could never figure out what that would be. We talked about this for years and years from the mid-70s on. In 1980, I'm originally from a suburb of St. Louis, Missouri. I went home to visit my parents, and I was rummaging around in the basement. I found my father's high school yearbook. Well, my father went to the same high school that I attended, and I'd never seen his high school yearbook, so I'm thumbing through it, and I discovered that my father was the president of his graduating class. And I thought about the president of my graduating class, who was one of these, you know, rah-rah, school spirit, yes, Mr. Soch. I was involved in the student committee to abolish student government. So I had nothing to do with people like that. So I wondered, was my dad somebody that I would have liked in high school, or would I have hated his guts? And that was the spark. That was the creative spark. What if you could go to high school with your dad? So I come back to California and I'm telling the story to Bob Zemeckis, and he says, yeah, I just love it.
And I had a lady friend at the time who was down in Mexico with me, and I had kind of a what do you call it, a slogan sort of that I would always, when I was starting out in businesses, leave no stone unturned, you know. In New York, I remember a particular rainy day when I was way uptown, 107th Street in my apartment, and there was going to be a reading for an off Broadway thing, way downtown, and it was raining, and I didn't, you know, but I thought, you got to check everything out, because you never know. And I went down there, and I got cast in this little thing, way off Broadway, and it ultimately led into paying work. So she said to me, you know, I'd thrown back to your script, the waste paper basket, and he said, you know what you always say to yourself, you know, leave any stone unturned. So I picked it up, and I looked at it. It was a very different version from, the power for the 88 gigawatts was to come from an atomic.
Right, atomic explosion.
Yeah. But I looked at it, and my agent was kind of hassling me, so I said, okay, I will deign to fly back to Los Angeles, interrupt my film work to meet Bob Zemeckis and maybe yourself or whatever, and I was convinced. So.